Welcome to this episode of Mommy Sea Star. Today I'm going to do a piece that's about the autism spectrum. It's called Life on the Autism Spectrum and it's part of a series I've been doing. I'm going to do a pour painting and I'm going to narrate it as I go. I'm going to do this in a single shot. So right now I'm going to get the camera ready and we're going to start pouring the paint as I narrate it. Okay. My daughter's over here playing with the water. Alright, let me check and make sure it's all lined up. Alright, now you'll see that this is a painting I did previously. And it's also a pour painting. In the background you have the rings. But I wasn't really happy with how it turned out. Plus it's a very loose canvas, so this is going to suit my purposes, keeping the paint in the canvas here. I'm going to pour a rainbow ring pour over the top of this. I mixed my paints with Floetrol, and it's about 50-50, Floetrol and acrylic paint. This one's a lovely metallic teal color, and I'm going to try to get this as the negative space in the center. One of my friends on the spectrum said that the black was in the center was rather disturbing to him, and I can understand that. So I'm going to put teal, which is still a dark color but more blue, and the black will serve as the contrast around the edge. That's the idea. Hopefully I can get some paint today. This is a rather large canvas, so if I didn't, I might have to paint around the edges. Okay, and here are my colors. Yellow, this is like a turquoise, the teal, black, magenta, metallic magenta, and red. And I added a little bit of white to the red because when acrylic paints dry, they tend to get darker. Here's a big plastic container I have so that it will fit all my paints. So because I want the teal to be in the center, I'm going to pour that first. I see there's a lot of bubbles in my paint, so I'm going to apply the heat from the hairdryer. Once I have my paints on the canvas, that will destroy any bubbles, hopefully. I know a lot of artists use a torch. I don't have a torch in the house, so I use the hairdryer. And sometimes I don't use anything because I don't mind having cells and bubbles. It's art, so you can decide what you want and what aesthetic you're going for. Sometimes you want smooth rings, and that's what I'm going for today. Okay, so that's the blue. I'm going to do like a backwards rainbow. So this is kind of a greenish blue, so I'm going to do that one next. And see how I'm pouring on the side of the container? So it's layering all the way down to the bottom of the jar. And you see a lot of happy accidents in my paintings. I don't mind that. And that's part of the fun for me, is to have some surprises. I always have surprises in my paintings. Here's the yellow. The yellow mixed with this blue turquoise will make it even more green. So I didn't use specifically green paint this time. I'm counting on my yellow and blue to make the green. You can layer your paints in an infinite number of ways, and it will change the composition that you end up with. So the only way to know exactly Well, you can never know exactly. But the only way to somewhat control the painting is to watch a lot of people and try a lot of times. Practice with consistencies and layering. Okay. Here comes this lovely, it's like a salmon color, but it'll dry more reddish, but I love the salmon color myself. Here comes. And hopefully I got out any lumps. That's when, if you're getting lumps in your painting, it's because the paints weren't mixed completely. Sometimes you get one or two of those still. But that's why you have to mix your paint slowly and carefully and completely. Okay, two more. The dark magenta. It's a good idea when you're doing pour paintings to have smaller canvases or rocks available so that you can use some of the leftover paint, because there is always leftover paint in your cups. Even if you scrape out every last drop, there's still some useful paint there. So if you're like me and you don't like to waste paint, then it's a good idea to have some rocks or something you can use that paint with. And here comes the black. Okay. I really like black with the rainbow pours because it makes a really, really nice contrast. I don't use a lot of white. I've tried it a couple of times and it just overpowers the colors. So you just have to, if you're going to use white, just decide how you're going to use it. Because white is a color and it's a very striking color. So here comes the black. And it looks like I mixed it completely, so that's really good. I was getting really caught up on getting circular patterns on these ring pours, and I like that, but you also have to have a lot of paint for it and keep the paint on the canvas, and I'm gonna try not to worry about that too much this time. Okay, we're gonna go for it now. Okay, this is the fun part for me. I love this part. I'm going to be moving my paint back and forth like this. And I think actually I'm going to bring you down for this one because I want you to see it from the side. Hello. I want you to really get a good shot of the paint coming down. Here we go. Look at that beautiful red magenta, the magenta and the red, which is like a salmon, black. Here come the blues. It's funny how it looks like I got black as my negative space still. Even though I put it last. So I'm telling you, there's always mysteries and surprises with these. You have to put put you up here. Whoops.
Pepper Potty.
Oh yes, that's on your shelf.
Pepper Potty.
We can get it. We'll get it together.
Pepper Potty.
Okay, sweetheart. Can you wait 5 minutes? Wait 5 minutes. Wow. Look at the inside of that. Okay. Let's stretch it out. Now, because I stretched it so much, it's hard to tell that's a ring pour, and I made a conscious decision on that. So that's okay. And still moving so much so I can play with the composition. Wow, that's pretty striking. I like how a lot of times they look like outer space. It looks like inside a nebula. Let me show you closer. And it's really cool when we get a continuous shot like this. It's pretty hard for me to film and paint at the same time. But there you have it. I like this pink, and I like this part up here. Pretty cool. So that's how you do the ring pour. Outer space. It looks like outer space. I had no idea what it would look like, and there it is.